Right, good afternoon, colleagues. We're very pleased to have Ms. Viviane van der Peer, Special Representative of the Secretary General and Head ad interim of the United Nations Organization Mission for the Stabilization in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, MONUSCO. Ms. van der Peer will deliver some remarks and take some questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your interest. As you know, I just briefed the Security Council on the situation in the DRC, Eastern DRC, and followed by informal close consultations. So I have a few comments to share with you from the get-go. The situation in the Eastern DRC remains extremely volatile. Fighting continues in North Kivu, in South Kivu, and in Ituri, with serious risks for civilians and growing danger of regional escalation. Civilians are paying the highest price. The continued use of heavy weapons, drone and other military capabilities in populated areas is deeply alarming and increases the risks to civilians and to civilian infrastructure. MONUSCO remains fully committed to the protection of civilians. Despite operational constraints, the mission continues to protect civilians, support community alert systems, conduct patrols, and adapt its posture in line with the mandate entrusted to us by the Security Council. Ceasefire implementation must now move from commitments to concrete action. The diplomatic efforts under the Washington, Doha, and the African Union and regional mechanisms are important, but they must produce tangible results on the ground. A credible ceasefire monitoring mechanism is essential. Monitoring and verification arrangements require security guarantees, freedom of movement, and practical support to become operational and effective. The reopening of Goma and Kavumu airports is urgent. It is a vital lifeline for civilians, for humanitarian actors, and any meaningful effort to support ceasefire implementation and humanitarian access. The human rights situation remains deeply concerning. Grave violations and abuses continue, including conflict-related sexual violence, arbitrary killings, abductions, intimidation of civil society, and violations affecting women and children disproportionately. Humanitarian needs are massive and rising. Displacement, food insecurity, and attacks on humanitarian personnel underscore the urgency of stronger international support and better coordination between humanitarian, development, and peace efforts. There is no military-only solution to this crisis. A sustainable path forward requires security de-escalation, restoration of state authority, inclusive political dialogue, and accountability for abuses. The Congolese people deserve peace, protection, and accountable governance. The international community must stay engaged and united to help close the gap between diplomatic commitments and realities on the ground. Today, my message is that the violence in Eastern DRC must stop. Civilians must be protected. Humanitarian access must be preserved. And the diplomatic commitments already made must now be implemented in full and without delay. MONUSCO stands ready to play its role. Thank you.
Amélie Bottelier from AFP News Agency. We all know that because of budget issues, all the peacekeeping missions are downsizing. Can you give us some details on how MONUSCO is reorganizing itself because of this troops issue and the decrease of contingent, and what impact it has on your mission on the ground?
Thank you. MONUSCO has downsized to an extent. We remain committed to our mandated priorities in North Kivu and in Ituri, which are three. It's protection of civilians, it's SSR, that is stabilization support to the government, and DDR, the disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration. So those are our priorities. They remained our priorities. We have reorganized ourselves. We have considered where we have the greatest impact, we maintained those positions, and we have consolidated maybe some outlying positions with lesser impact, which we have then offset with greater mobility, the use of technology to receive early warning and then deploy in a mobile manner to do protection of civilians. So we have reorganized ourselves. We consider that with the reduced resources, we are still able to implement the mandate. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit less timely, but we are still able to implement the mandate. What we cannot do within the resources that we currently have today is to implement the additional mandated task in monitoring of the ceasefire, supporting the monitoring of the ceasefire. First of all, it's a new task. Second of all, it is also, the ceasefire line is also in South Kivu, and South Kivu is a province where we withdrew on 30 June 2024. So it would require a partial redeployment there. Not for a full mandate, but just for ceasefire monitoring. So for that, we would need additional resources. Our budget has been submitted and is being considered by the member states in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Edith Lederer from the Associated Press. You've talked about M23 military activities, and we again saw both the DRC and Rwanda exchanging accusations. Has MONUSCO seen any signs at all that M23 is withdrawing or starting to withdraw or halting military activity as the ceasefire agreement has called for?
Thank you. Both parties have continued confrontations in Eastern DRC. The fight between the government on the one hand with their allies and the M23 on the other hand with their allies has continued to an extent. So M23 did withdraw from a city that they had captured in December in Uvira in South Kivu. Under international pressure, they withdrew. So that happened. But in the meantime, on all the front lines, there's still a fighting going on. There's increasing use of drones. So this is precisely why we need to really start implementing all these mediated agreements. There's many agreements that have been signed by the parties, not by anybody but the parties. So now they need to be implemented. And that's where MONUSCO comes in, because this is what we are best placed to support of anybody, because we're still on the ground in Eastern DRC.
What are the first steps that need to be taken to implement the agreements?
It is the adherence of all the parties to the agreements that they have signed. So those are the steps. And practically that means that there should be an actual ceasefire on the ground, and all the hostilities should cease. The airports should be reopened. MONUSCO should have its freedom of movement so it can support the implementation of the ceasefire. So all that is being negotiated by the various negotiating teams. And we are just, as a mission, we are ready to support that. Thank you.
All right, colleagues, that's it. Thank you so much. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.